The worst fears of Barcelona fans were confirmed earlier today as UEFA have sanctioned two of the Blaugrana and star players Robert Lewandowski and Lamine Yamal with fines of €5,000 each for violating anti-doping regulations after their game against Inter in Italy. It was reported yesterday that both players had been summoned by the UEFA control, ethics and disciplinary body following an investigation into their conduct during or after the matchday 3 encounter between Inter Milan and Barcelona at the San Siro, which ended in a 1-1 draw. With the Polish striker being one of the world's best goal scorers and the young Moroccan sensation Lamine Yamal, who has been making waves at Barca, this news sent shockwaves around Europe. But what exactly happened and why have they been fined? We'll discuss that right now, but before we do, thanks for tuning in. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and turn notifications on so you don't miss any of our latest videos. So as mentioned, Barcelona duo Robert Lewandowski and Lamine Yamal have been handed fines of €5,000 each after they admitted to breaching anti-doping regulations in their Champions League group stage match against Inter Milan in Italy. According to the statement released by UEFA, the case was opened following the away team's doping control after the aforementioned fixture. In the statement, UEFA revealed that the sanctions were imposed on both players after they were found guilty of violating anti-doping regulations. However, the exact nature of the violations remains unclear as the statement did not provide further details. The standard protocol for post-match drug testing sees a small number of players from each team selected at random for analysis of their biological passport data. Biological passports are essentially a collection of a player's key biological data, including blood and urine samples, which are analyzed over time to detect any abnormalities. They are designed to detect any unusual spikes in performance or any possible sign of doping. For those uninitiated, the World Anti-Doping Agency outlines 3 types of anti-doping rule violations. The first category covers the presence of a prohibited substance in the player's biological sample. The second involves the use or attempted use of prohibited substances or methods. And the third relates to tampering or attempted tampering with any part of the doping control process. So the question here is, did Robert Lewandowski or Lamine Yamal intentionally refuse to give samples? Did they leave the testing area without permission? Or did they test positive for a banned substance? We simply do not know right now. Now, it's worth mentioning that the decision to sanction these players was not made by UEFA directly. Rather, an independent disciplinary body within UEFA made this decision. That said, the fact that these players were willing to settle the case at this stage likely played a role in the outcome. By admitting to the offense and showing remorse, the players may have convinced the disciplinary body to hand down a less severe penalty. In addition to the fines, there were no other punishments handed out to either player. Now, whether the settlement included further sanctions not publicly disclosed remains unknown. Speaking of the potential repercussions, how much of a blow is a €5,000 fine to 2 players earning well into the millions? Honestly, not a lot. It's certainly a slap on the wrist. But while it might seem lenient, it's important to remember that the fine is just one part of the punishment. The other part is the reputational damage. Being charged with anti-doping violations carries a huge amount of stigma. And regardless of the fine amount, these players will have to work hard to clear their names and regain public trust. Fans will want to know if there was intent behind the violation, if these players made a genuine mistake, or if there was something more sinister at play. Regardless of their response, this incident will undoubtedly raise questions about their commitment to fair play and sportsmanship. And ultimately, it's up to them to rebuild their reputation and restore their good name. As we wait to learn more about the specifics of the case, we can speculate as to what led to this point. The most common reason for anti-doping rule violations is accidental contamination. This can occur when a player inadvertently takes a banned substance that is not clearly labeled as such. It can also happen when a player uses a medication prescribed by a doctor without realizing it contains a prohibited substance. Another possibility is that the players were pressurized to perform better. Unfortunately, the world of professional football is incredibly competitive, and there have been instances in the past where players have been encouraged or forced to use performance-enhancing drugs. Ultimately, until we learn more about the situation, it's impossible to say what really happened. However, we can be certain that this case highlights the need for greater education and awareness around anti-doping rules and regulations. Players must understand the potential consequences of taking any substance, even over-the-counter medications. And governing bodies need to ensure that rules are clear and effectively communicated. As for the next steps, we can expect UEFA to release a full report of its investigation in due course. This will likely include details on the nature of the violation and the evidence against the players. Until then, the players will continue to be under scrutiny and speculation will only intensify. Their teammates, coaches, and the club itself will be eager to put this episode behind them. But until we learn more, the full extent of the damage to their reputation remains unclear. Now, let's see what fans are saying about the news on Twitter. There seems to be quite a few differing opinions on the matter. One supporter of Robert Lewandowski wrote, "Lewandowski was tested after the game and he wasn't even in the starting lineup. What the hell did he do wrong?" Another said, "Honestly, I believe in Robert Lewandowski. He deserves our support." Come on, with another adding, "If it's proven that he didn't do it intentionally, I'm with you." However, not all fans were so quick to defend the Polish striker, with one writing, "A €5,000 fine for Louis, but 0 points on his license." So a 20% increase in fine for every km per hour over the limit in Barcelona. A disgrace, with another adding, "To be honest, I don't care if it was on purpose or not. Rules are rules, and if you break them, you get punished. No excuses." Then looking at some supporters of Lamine Yamal, one tweeted, "Lamine Yamal has been fined €5,000 by UEFA for anti-doping violations. He's just 16 years old. Let's see if anyone is going to defend him this time." Another added, "What happened to Lamine Yamal is sad. May God protect him from evil," with one more writing, "Poor kid. It's probably all a misunderstanding, but why didn't they call up Pedri too?" Anyway, I'm waiting for the truth. One fan of the club replied to the tweet announcing the fine with, "I thought it was strange that they were called up. I knew it wasn't for a summons, but I thought it was because they wanted to warn them before giving them a fine." Good news. Finally, one pessimistic user said, "Well, we went from winning the treble to getting fined €10,000 in a week. What a week to be alive." So what do you think? Do you think this was a serious violation or a minor mistake? Should UEFA investigate further? And what do you think happens next for Lewandowski and Yamal? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of our latest videos. And make sure you check out our other videos, which we think you might also like. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time.